Hey guys, it's your boy Zach bringing you another Monster Hunter video. And I wanted to show you the armor set that I use for most of my hunts, because I like running the Immortal set. And especially if you're playing solo, you may want to actually do this as well, because then you don't have to rely on anyone, you can just keep attacking the monster. And I found out hunting solo allows you to get hunts done a little bit faster if you're running some good gear. Now, this setup I got from Rage Gaming, but it's been altered just a little bit. But it's the Numerous Crown B, Numerous Shroud A, right? Numinous Vanbrix B, the Suja Sash A, and the Numinous Greaves B. Now, these are the decorations. Put them like you like. I changed out some of the maximum might for chain, but essentially it's still the same thing with some great coverage for heals and recovery time. And it happens really fast during the fight. So you're not going to be having to stop and heal as long as you're not being too overly aggressive when playing. Now, one thing to consider is what type of meal you're going to make going into this fight. And even though I started putting off veggies, because I usually do that to have the higher defenses, for laggy fight, if you have this armor, it's actually better to go with meat to have the attack boost, which I'll put later. Next, you want to put in the shrimp, preferably turpid shrimp for tumbler meal high, because you want to be able to extend the invulnerability when evading to kind of help with that dodge boost that you get if you're using dual blades. And then finally, you want to start considering the jeweler mullet row for swimmer meal, because it's going to increase your attack when wet, and you're going to be wet quite a bit during this fight. And, you know, that extra attack boost is absolutely amazing. Really helps get the fight done a lot faster. So this armor with this meal for this fight, it is the best choice. The next thing you want to do is make sure you have a pop-up camp as close to the top of the Scarlet Forest map, where you finish your fight with Uthduna. And that's where Laggy's going to start when in the single player match. And also, he's only a 3-star. He's not like an 8-star tempered. This is just to get Laggy himself done fast. Now, it's also great to farm him this way too for his parts for armor spheres, or if you want to make his armor. This is actually pretty good. Now, once you get up to where he is, I recommend maybe using the Gilding Mantle and sneaking up on him for a sneak attack. I'll be perfectly honest, I forgot to do that. And you're going to see, like, a moment into it, I'm going to be like, oh yeah, I should have done a sneak attack, but he was already looking right at me. But this is the area where he's going to start off in. And even though there is that island in the background that you can break when Uthduna's in the water, it doesn't affect him, so I left this one alone. But there are a few environmental hazards throughout the map that you can drop on him, and those are very important. Now, one thing I'm going to say about me, that dodge that you can do as a dual blader and archer, a bow user, I suck at that. I can never get that timing down. If I ever get it, it's because of luck. But having that extra invulnerability window does help a fair bit. So that's another reason why I wanted that meal the way it was. Now, as for Laggy, one of the things you want to do is focus on his midsection. You want to break his back as soon as possible. It's going to limit how effective his electrical attacks are going to be. And even though I love cutting tails, for Laggy, I always go after those back spikes, so he won't be able to shock me as hard or as often. Now, the next thing that he does is go down one level lower, and there'll be a Rathian there, and it'll trigger a Turf War. And the Turf War is beautiful, and as you can see, I was thinking maybe I could get a little extra sneak attack, but either way. So they're going to duke it out. The Lagiacrus is going to take some damage. Rathian's going to take a lot of damage. And God, that's just beautiful. And the disrespect that he just throws him with, I love it. Now, once they have their little fight, getting get back a little deeper into the area. You want to lure him over to the rubble that is essentially the dam. And now, I didn't do it, but you can also put some traps down to get a little extra hit in. You could do that before or after. You can bring some lure pods to help make sure you get him to the area. But once he's here, drop the dam on him. Get that little extra damage. I believe like when you drop environmental damage on them, you could do up to 4% of their health. So being able to take that off is really good. And as you see here, I broke his back. And that means he's going to have a lot harder of a time trying to use his electrical moves. At this point, depending on if you're a hammer user or a bladed weapon, you want to go for his tail or head. Now, my partner, Faker, who is meant to resemble my cat Feisty, he put down an electric chap, but, Laggy was not going for it. I was hoping I could lure him with... if I blinded him, but yeah, it is what it is. Now, he's trying to leave this area, and on the way to the next one, which is his little arena, his cave, there is some breakable rubble. So, I want you guys to pay attention to this, because I've seen a lot of people miss it. I've seen a lot of people miss Laggy when he's trying to get there. It took me a while to kind of get the timing right. But, as soon as you're done with all the bouncing area, you'll see the rubble right there. It looks like it's standing between two tusks or two ribs. Wait till Laggy's right there. Drop it on him, and he's going to come out. And you'll be able to get quite a few free hits on him. Now, this is a great chance to get his chest, his head, his tail, but not his back. So that's why you see me focusing on the chest, because it is breakable. Now, he doesn't spend a lot of time fighting here, so if you want to extend it, you could put down a trap shortly after he stands up, or you could move on to the next area. And that's going to be his little arena where you get to fight him. Now, once you're in his cave, it's pretty straightforward. You want to pound on him until he goes into the water. Again, you can set down traps, but sometimes he's really quick, like you see here, and he rushes into the water. Now, I did previously one time put a shock trap down, hoping to catch him before you went in. It didn't register, so don't try that. I don't think it's going to work. Now, when you're here in the underwater segment, you're going to want to grab the whatever pods that are nearby. Laggy sometimes will shoot them off. And you don't want to be on him when he's attacking. He will damage you. Now, if you are able to break or make any wounds on him, do so. And definitely drop whatever breakable environments are that are around him. You have 2 pieces of rubble that can fall. Once you are on him, don't be afraid to just stab. Don't go for the big hit. You want to try and open up some wounds, and I've had better luck opening wounds by just doing the simple stabs than the bigger attacks. And by doing that, it seems you're able to get more damage off. Which is why you see me here, I just kind of just bouncing around on him, trying to open up more wounds. And get away once you see him kind of curling up. Now, if you don't do enough damage in time, he will do this big whirlpool electrical attack. And fun thing about that is, if you can get farther enough from him, you won't be damaged. I've done that before. It's a beautiful attack, but I didn't want to get hit by it, and I was still in the water. And he can hit you when you are on land. He does kind of like splash the water up, and it starts dropping the electricity bolts through it, and well, there you go. Now, like I said, there are 2 pieces of rubble. Drop them on him. In this case, I did miss. And other thing to take notice is that spike wall. Try and damage him near that spike wall, especially when you know it's coming to an end. You don't have to be too close to it, but you want to make sure you're not far from it, because he will slam into it, he will do extra damage, and that will also make it so that when he gets up on land, he is on his back waiting for extra hits, which is a good time to maybe set down a pitfall trap if you're trying to capture him. And potentially a shock trap. But either way, no matter what, it's still perfect to get all that extra damage. And I just learned here that he's a little bit farther away than what the pods can hit him at. So keep that in mind too. They don't have infinite range. Now, I will also want to say this. It is a beautiful fight. But getting back to my point, start with focusing on any area you can open up. And once you trigger this animation, you're going to see him get pushed right into the wall, take all this extra damage. I think it's somewhere between 6 and 1,000. And watch this. Boom. Dead. Just like that. Now you guys know where the environmental damage is. Remember to use fire element against him. Go for his back if you want to decrease his electrical damage and electrical attack moves. And that's the way to make the fight easier. There are a few things you could do, like putting some more traps down. But yeah, there you go, guys. So thank you very much for watching. Please remember, like, subscribe, all that good stuff we all say. But glad to have you all watch my videos. So you all take care now. Peace.